Ah, there we go. Take it away.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Kwaai Day, Friday, April 12th. This is the 37th, I think. We've lost count. Who knew
It is, I confirmed. 37, you're in it.
Okay, we started this habit in the summer of last year, and it's great that we've kept up the momentum of a weekly public meeting. And on the 25th, there's going to be a second weekly public meeting opened up in the EMEA chapter. So this is part of the way that we address the community, no barrier to entry to attend our weekly public meeting. I do note that there are several people on the call that aren't members yet, though. If you become a member and you're a volunteer, you'll get access to the Slack channel. So you'll get access to all of the content that is being developed and the discussion that's going on in the community. What do we have here? We've got a super intelligence. We've got a rich vein of experience and talent, all focused on artificial intelligence. So join the community. If you know anybody else who might be interested, who's aligned with our mission, invite them along. The more the merrier. We reached 294 members today, and we're growing. We're probably doubling every quarter. We'll probably blow through our 1,000 volunteer target before the year is up. So thank you very much for all participating. We've got a full agenda today. We've got Matt will report on the automation of our back office operations. We've got a lightning talk from Thomas Box, and lots of other updates. Look, I won't take up more time. I want to get to hear from member voices towards the end of this and before we wrap up. Okay, thanks. Take it away, Matt. And Matt,
having trouble coming off of mute. There we go.
Okay.
Well, all right. And it doesn't look like actually Thomas is here yet. I don't know if Reza, you can.
I am on.
Oh, there you are, Thomas. All right, excellent. We're not quite ready for you yet, but good to see you. And looking forward to your lightning talk today. First up today is Toby. Toby, you had thrown together some hackathons. Why don't you tell folks what's going on?
Hey, how's everybody today? So, give you a quick update. The hackathon series is picking up momentum. I actually put it on LinkedIn publicly today. I previously was soft circling it, but just to give you an update. So our members are coming through. The community is coming through. So thank you, Kwanza. Thank you, Asante Bradford. Basically, for our stop in Georgia, Asante and Kwanza have helped get the state of Georgia on board, Georgia Tech University to host us, the city of Atlanta, the mayor's office. The mayor will probably be there. And Techstars has agreed to host us nationally at any one of their locations. We just got to choose the ones we want. Where we can't get university locations, we'll use Techstars offices as a backup. On the sponsorship front, besides those people, you know, we already talked about this. Mongo, Dave Nielsen, thank you, Dave. CouchDB, Matt, we met you at Scale, thank you, brother. Data Stacks, that's all my fam from Apogee, Chet, Brian, Scott Regan, thank you guys for coming through. We appreciate you. We also have a couple of additional volunteers. So Jaymes Hines, you know, you guys know James, but he's agreed to help with the hackathons. Ayori's actually at Salesforce. She's in my syndicate. She's going to be helping with the hackathons. Luke Kilpatrick, old school dev, you know, relations guy, as well as PJ, our guy PJ from devrelations.io. I'm dragging him in. He hasn't confirmed it, but I'm confirming for him. We're giving PJ a free community sponsorship to help him promote his dev relations company. So if anybody hiring dev relations people, reach out because our guy is a badass and he's looking for a job. And then Tim, thank you, Tim R in Seattle. Karsten is going to connect with you. Tim is the man. Appreciate Tim is probably going to be our host in Seattle. So thank you, Tim. Anybody else, look at the locations. If you have overlapping network, if you're in the locations, you want to support, you want to volunteer, please just ping me. And then remember, all of you guys, everybody in the community gets a free community sponsorship to promote your business and what you do. So please send us your logos. Let us know. We'll get this. We want to get you as much visibility as we can. So the sooner you send us that stuff, the sooner I'll get it. The website is going to be going up next week. We got a sponsor that is donated to do the website. I didn't want to announce them yet because they haven't done the work, and I've never worked with them. But momentum is movement. So please contribute. I appreciate everybody's contribution so far, and just amplify, amplify, amplify.
Thank you, Toby. That was awesome. You'll get would you post those locations in the Slack there for us?
Yes, I'll put the documents, the sponsorship doc, and the tour schedule, which has dates and cities. Oh, and if you want to add a city, nominate your city, right? Find a sponsor host. Like, we don't have a problem with adding more cities.
Awesome. Thank you, Toby. Super exciting to see the Kwaai show on the road, and thank you for you and Karsten for pulling that together. Hey there, Karsten.
Matt,
anything to add there? Oops, sorry, James. Go ahead.
Apologize, Toby, if you don't mind. I'm just going to pop in the list of cities just to give a preview to the people so they can check out the link later. Is that okay?
Great.
Thank you, James. Appreciate that. Karsten, just real quick, anything to add there? Just punctuate us.
Other than just to note that this is like a groundbreaking opportunity in terms of I love the ideas of, especially the way that Toby pulled in the Palooza idea, in this aspect of tying together, the past and the present into our future. Because I think that's what, AI isn't something that's created from scratch, from like nothing that existed before. Like, as we all can tell, it's building on the shoulders of giants, and this is just a similar idea with that. And I think the fair component, the last day elements, the Sunday, if you take a look at the docs that Toby's going to share, it's a Friday 5 p.m. until Sunday, and Sunday 5 p.m. and that Sunday whole day is going to be an open fair for the local city, a chance for people to shine and show their things. And I mean, this is just a great new example of how we can do this kind of open community work with people contributing, time, attention, help, hands, hearts, and help us find venues if you want us to come to your city. Thanks, everyone. Awesome.
Thank you, Karsten. Super quick on operational updates, and we'll get it over to Thomas Box here for a lightning talk. As some of you that are on work group meetings have seen, we have a new alias that's sent, a new email address that's sending all the calendar invitations. It's pi@kwaai.ai. After today's weekly public meeting and the hackathon, I'm going to transition these over to that new alias as well. This is just going to help us operationalize everything a little better, leading into the work that we're trying to do with a CRM. And I loved how Karsten mentioned that contributor relationship management system. We're implementing Salesforce, getting ourselves out of Google Sheets. And just a quick shout out to Eunice on that for his help with the form. And we're getting the data transferred over this week here. All right. Thomas, I would love to pass it over to you here.
Sure. All right, so let me give you an intro. I need to update my LinkedIn. I'm no longer with Edgio, but looking at making the transition into what I do next. And I checked in with Reza and I asked, hey, what's going on? AI is taking over everything. Media entertainment is in a panic about this. And where do we go from here? So a little background on me. I've spent my entire career working on major technology transitions. The initial few projects I worked on were analog to digital. Nike wanted to get from having 90-year-old, I'm not joking here, 80 and 90-year-old pattern makers working with knives and pens to digital production, try and reduce the time to get to market. got from Daimler trying to create the Mercedes vans, Sprinter vans you see everywhere, and they want to design those digitally and also create some efficiencies around trucks. That went from people carving in clay to doing digital design. And in both these cases, it came down to the technology that was used in movies and chasing that technology. I ended up in entertainment. So for the last 25 years, I've been working on transitioning the film industry to digital, coming out with streaming, and helping get these markets going with the direct to consumer. And that's where the state of entertainment is today, and it's falling apart. For 30 years, they've had this awesome distribution platform where the broadcasters, the guys who put together your cable package or your satellite package to your house, they've got the bandwidth, they own the cable to your house. You check in with them, it gives you everything from your phone to your internet bandwidth to your entertainment today. And that entertainment package was billions of dollars of licensing coming in. So they screwed it up. And where they were getting hundreds of dollars from us every month, now they get whatever subscription we're willing to pay. In a lot of cases, we chose not to use their app. And so they've gone from billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars, and now it's tens of millions of dollars. So like it's a huge factor change. How do they adapt? How do they make this happen? They're going to work it out. They'll get that done. But in the meantime, the talent who just went through a strike this last year, the creators who went through a strike this last year, they're wondering what happens. You can take a director, a writer, and with AI, learn how they wrote the last show. You could probably write another show. They're worried about that. They're worried about a stunt coordinator, a stunt man, an actor going in, doing a couple hours in front of a green screen, and then having 60 or 80 TV episodes come out depicting them doing something, and then they don't get paid for it. It's a lot of the issues and things that are related to AI that are driving things beyond just the economic model changing. So it's a very turbulent time for them. So all this price compression and revenue compression coming through has caused a lot of disruption. It's why my old company Edgio is reducing people. It's why companies that are in content distribution out there are cutting back. So we're seeing a big industry shift, and everybody's got to figure out how we move to the next level. And I just got off a call before this where it was a discussion about, what can the internet really do today? Where do broadcasters fit in? What's the value? And everyone's trying to work this out. At the same time, the technology is shifting under their feet. And that's why I joined Kwaai to be involved, help work on this, because social media is really what broke things down. And it's taken things down to not just how does a business connect with people, but how do those people let the business know what they do? And Reza said, it's no longer B2C, it's me to B. The me to B thing, like me individually, how do you get my information to make a decision to bring me what is valuable to me? And that, I think, is what we can enable here with Kwaai. If we're talking about individual AI, our information, what we know, what do we unlock of our information to the businesses we use, whether it's Sam's Club or Costco? How does that relate to the companies where we get our entertainment? How does it relate to the companies that we go to for travel or buying our next computer? What do we want to share? And I think having control over that will mean a lot to many people, especially if we're talking about small children in the house versus your core interests and who you want to trust. What is American Express or Visa or MasterCard going to do with your information? So I think those are all questions we can address in this group, get input, and help steer the industry so that we have really going to resemble in the market where some personal power is on a device, whichever one it is we buy and change to, that's portable. And how does that talk to the ever-growing knowledge base that is going to power corporate AI, business AI, that want to commercialize our eyeballs or our wallets to them? So anybody have any questions about that?
Yeah, Daniel, please.
Hey, yeah, so my whole life is a convergence of technology and entertainment and the arts. And so I I want to connect with you later, Thomas.
Yeah.
I've been asked to make AI generated video assets for a horror movie here in Seattle. It's already been filmed and really good production with people I know. But people come to me to do a lot of stuff. I'm connected to a lot of artists. I'm connected to a lot of people in the music industry. I was with James Brown for a while. I was with that dude. A lot of stuff with big music and concerts, a lot of things with actors. Yeah, I'm really well connected, and we should talk because I've got 2 good things going on right now that would help people, I'm sure. And everything you're saying, okay?
Yeah, I'd love to hear what you're doing. I've just been playing around with the AI, the generative AI from a sort of play around standpoint, like make a meme. I'm really interested in what's happening on an actual entertainment.
Yeah, I got you. I do the big physical art and digital. So I've done like 10,000 person shows, and I've done pure digital stuff too as well. So anyway, but let's definitely connect. And I don't know how to find people when we're in these meetings. I actually just don't know. So I'm going to write down your last name so I can just get with you later.
Let me share my LinkedIn.
Okay.
Gotcha. Profiles in the chat, and then find each other in the Slack. Although Thomas, I don't think you're there yet.
I'm in Slack. I am in Slack, actually.
Excellent.
Yeah, I may not be yet, so I just want to make sure. I've been really busy, but good things are coming. Good things are coming.
I'll just put my
Thank
email
you,
address
Daniel.
in there.
Appreciate it. Karsten, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, Thomas, that was a great introduction and lightning on where you were coming from. I just really want to echo what you're saying about this being like a convergence, I guess, right? That I'm going on my 30th year in technology, starting from web design back in the mid 90s, and I've been involved in open source for the last 20 years, and so I've been either directly involved, directly somewhere adjacent to, or 1 degree removed from every meaningful open source thing I can think of in the last 2 decades, and I've never seen anything that has with a Venn diagram that includes a massive open source component that has to be part of what makes this work has drawn so many different kinds of industries and backgrounds and needs and attentions into one place. I know we're probably not the only place these kinds of conversations are happening right now. This is the zeitgeist, but it is just fantastic to really to recognize that this is a sea change compared to any other kinds of movements that we've really seen in the last several decades at the very least. And so thank you.
And how fast open source moves with how people get involved. How fast is AI going to move?
Right. Yeah. It's been this open source was behind the scenes in terms of it going from a thing that people didn't know about to taking over all of software development that people still don't know about it. Right.
In a couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah. Where with AI, it's like everyone's knowing about it and is now full of things to say. So it's definitely a new era. Yeah.
Back in my 90s days when I had an investment club, we always said chaos is our friend. I was like, well, here's the chaos. Let's make it useful instead of letting it take over.
Well said. Well said. Thank you, Thomas. That was awesome. Really appreciated that, and especially since I asked you to do this yesterday. Thank you. For jumping in and sharing your knowledge with us. Let's move on to some work group updates here. First up is Sam with the architecture and engineering update.
Okay. All right. So we had some good calls yesterday about the architecture, where we're at with it. I've been doing quite a bit of work on looking at kind of what does a personal AI operating system look like, trying to find kind of the lowest common denominator between the various proof of concepts that you see in the GitHub repo currently, and really, like, I spent a couple of hours with Balaji. If he wants to chime in as well, you're most welcome. But the problem that we have really looks a lot like a kind of DevOps problem. Like, how do we create these different resources that may be local? We want to support local, but probably most people will be cloud-based, bringing the apps to the data, which is typically in the cloud. And so it kind of ends up looking like an admin dashboard, right? And being able to go in and create these different users. And so let me see if I can share kind of the sandbox that I'm working on at the minute. Here, I'm using a thing called React Admin. Here we go. So we can put data in it. We've got, you can have different users with different permissions and this kind of stuff. So I feel like this is probably what it will end up looking like. Now, how you actually stand that up, I did quite a bit of research into actually portable executables and a C library called Cosmopolitan, which you can run on Mac, Windows, Linux, OBSD. You can even put it in the boot sector. So it runs on all of these different systems. But the problem is it's a C library, right? So you can't run Go, which means you can't do things like run Terraform or Tofu. You can't do binary Python libraries. So I started going down the path of using Ansible, which can create all these different containers and cloud resources and things. But if you can't do if you can't link to C to do things like crypto, then that's not going to work as well. So it may be a little bit too constrained. I mean, it would be awesome to be able to have a single file download. This Red Bean web server that you can run locally. It's also incidentally it's what's behind Llama File, which is you download a 4 gig file and everything's included. You can just run a large language model locally without having to do all of this stuff. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. It's like, how do you take an admin dashboard like this one? How do you get data into the system? How do you have different users having different permissions? Where does that live? Is it like going into a container? How are you deploying the container? This new Airbnb framework that came out, it's like the first thing is like deploy Docker. And if it's a personal AI operating systems for users to take back control, and the first command is like deploy Docker, the whole discussion about whether it's free and open source aside, that's just a bridge too far for most people. So we really need it to be a lot easier. And ideally, you'll be able to go to a web form and kind of put in your details and username and password, and it will create that environment for you. And kind of my realization then is that, well, it doesn't really matter if it can't run everywhere, because we're going to have some control over where it runs. We're going to be able to say, look, it's going to have to run on Linux in the cloud and or locally. If you're okay to set up Docker locally or Podman or whatever locally, then go for your life. But we can actually be a little bit opinionated about how that works. So once you've got this web UI that's probably living in a container that gets set up through a web form, maybe it's in a free tier on Amazon, maybe you control the keys, so it still is your personal space. Its main job is going to be, the next thing I'm going to add on the left here will be like abilities, and you'll be able to go in and click on an ability and then click through and see what the ability does and then add the ability. Now, what is adding an ability? Well, if you're adding an ability to have relational data, then it's going to need to deploy Postgres somewhere, which either means you're going to use a multi-tenant Postgres like Amazon RDS, or you're going to actually deploy an Amazon a Postgres container or VM or something like that, right? And so again, very DevOpsy kind of, how do we stand this stuff up? How do we configure the usernames and passwords and make it all secure and connect it all together? Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at for the minute. I think we've made some pretty good progress, and I'm excited to be able to report that we've got kind of the start of what it might look like.
Balaji, why don't we take a note from you, and Ayori, we'll have some time at the end for some questions. We're rolling through some of the agenda items here, but there's some time at the end to chime in. Balaji, anything to add here?
Yeah, thanks, and thanks for capturing the essence of what we were discussing in the past week. Couple of things I just wanted to add in the spirit of moving the POC along. I published the Docker image. Now, anybody who knows how to download the GitHub and spin up their instance, Hector Miranda, thanks for verifying the image. You should be able to run this POC bot that we actually ran on the Scale conference on your local machine if you have a GPU. That's one small little progress. The second piece I just wanted to quickly sum it all up is that I think as we go through this architecture process, like Sam says, we are arriving at a place where this operating system looks more and more like a distributed operating system, where some parts can live in the edge, some parts can live in the cloud. There is a version which probably entirely can fit into your box if it has enough compute and memory and whatnot, but there are versions where more practically it's fitting in multiple pieces. So I would like to call out for anybody who has some experience and thoughts along this, join the group and add value to the architecture discussions. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's move on to the funding committee. And I actually don't see Michael Nathan on, but I do see Mark Vega on. Mark, do you think I could put you on the spot?
Sure thing. Hey, Matt.
Just give us an update on the funding committee meeting yesterday, just kind of where our directions are going and what folks here can do to help.
Thank you for that opportunity. I love this team and this crew and this group of people who are dedicated to making this work. We all need personal AIs, absolutely. And why don't we all be the ones who lead the charge? So thank you for that. Breeze has made a lot of progress on shaping the universe of sponsorship funding. And we are breaking down both big events and big long-term long-term programs for sponsors that could last a year or longer. And then there's also, we're coming up with some opportunities for individual types of sponsors to specifically embrace and finance very specific events. Toby is like hustling 24/7. I got to go see this guy in person because I know you guys watch him on these calls, but I got to go get in person with that guy. Same with Karsten, because when they're in person with them, there's some serious energy that can't be denied. And toward that end, Toby was able to articulate how breaking down individual events are more than just the hackathon or more than just the summit. Every little operational detail of Kwaai, as we develop and evolve over time, can be pulled out and served up to sponsors. I know you just asked me for an update, Matt, and I apologize if I'm trying to describe how to make the watch, but I hope I'm capturing or conveying to you both the excitement and passion for the opportunity and the timing we have right now, one. And number two, the collaborative kind of environment here, the vibe is really good. So we've got the funding deck now that is so comprehensive that my recommendation is that entire deck won't ever be given to anyone because there's so much tasty morsels to be selected for just the right audience. You guys it'll blow your mind. So anybody who's interested in joining the funding committee, please come on in. Please, anybody who's just joining the Slack channels, ask around, talk to others, and jump in. Not unlike Matt just seeing me just now. I just logged in and Matt was like, hey, Mark, can you do this? Yes, I'm here. We are stepping in. And so come and be present and participate. Matt, I hope I didn't bury the lead here, and I hope I didn't do any good service to the whole team for that update. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Toby, something quick there?
Yeah, I have one more that I forgot. I can't believe I forgot this one. So
I told you guys Toby's going to do something like that, right? Go ahead, Toby. Let's hear it. Lay it out.
All right. So Asante Bradford connected the dot for us at the end of his call and had an oh fuck moment. His oh fuck moment was the state of Georgia has $5 million allocated for, guess what? AI education. And we're going to become the first vendor. And so the way we activate these dollars for Kwaai, everybody, is we need companies in Georgia. Their tax bill can be applied to Kwaai for funding. Hello, reach out to your folks in Georgia. Hit up Kwanza, right? Anyone you know in the great state of Georgia, kiss that peach. All right, and let's get to it.
Love it.
John Willis.
John
Willis is in Hackworth, Georgia.
Yeah, hey.
Have you reached out to him?
Oh, sorry, Jordan, go ahead.
John Willis lives in Hackworth, Georgia. So and
Awesome.
it's a great hackathon. So you're
he's
getting
gonna be
multiple
our
wins
host.
right there.
That's our host right there.
There you go.
Really?
Love it.
Well, by way of Long Island or whatever. So
this is going to be super fun, and I love just how all the stuff comes together here at Kwaai. The hackathons in Georgia, the funding calls, the the PIOS. Thank you all for contributing. Reza has a quick update for us on policy, and then we'll hit member voices. Member voices is our favorite time each week. If you've never introduced yourself before, please raise the virtual hand here. And I'll call on you. We'd love for new folks to introduce themselves. If you don't raise your hand, I might call on you. But we would love to hear your voices during Member Voices, just following Reza's policy update.
Matt, I'm going to change the lineup there. I'm not going to give a policy update. I think what's needed, following from Sam and Balaji's update on where we went with the architecture, I really wanted to just present you this proof of concept. This is what the proof of concept for our personal AI looks like. And what is your mission?
My mission as Lumi, an AI created by Kwaai Labs, is to help democratize artificial intelligence through personal AI by assisting in researching fundamental AI, drafting policies for safer and more humane outcomes, and being an amplified rather than artificial intelligence assistant that knows its user and helps them become a better version of themselves.
Okay, so where are we going to take, that was the snapshot of where we were at the summit. That was Q1, our Q1 goal. Our Q2 goal that Balaji and Sam are driving, and thanks so much. They're so far in the weeds that they maybe didn't give you this high level view of it. What we want to do is make this available in a beta form, but there's more work to be done. And so we've got a requirements document, or this is a document for a requirements document. But at a high level, yes, we need to provide the ability to log in. We need to provide that sort of dashboard control mechanism. Yeah, credits for all those people that sponsored and contributed to it. Great. We need to make that interaction sub-second with sub-second latency. And that would make it a compelling experience. How do we get it to spread virally? And how do we live up to the promise of making AI available to everyone? We need to have this build my bot, where in 1, 2, 3 clicks, you can create your own bot. And that is how it would spread. Now, we don't have the wherewithal to make this an open beta. Wish we did. Maybe we will have. But as a closed beta, I think it's a good stepping stone for us getting feedback into the into the engineering of this, so that we can make it available for general release. So if we're aiming to do this development in Q2 so that we can have a beta running through Q3 and general release in Q4, that is our big ass roadmap for the year. Each of these milestones are eminently sponsorable. And so, as well as event sponsoring, we want to sponsor the hard work. And we sponsor by offering brands to make matching contributions. They're not underwriting the whole thing. We put a value on your effort, the effort of the volunteers, and brands can come in and sponsor that by making a matching contribution. So look, I just wanted to give a high level of what we want to do. I'm going to stop sharing there, but this is in place of giving a policy update. Briefly, policy working groups moving to every other week, and progress has been made on the employment contract terms language. Thanks. Back to you, Matt.
Awesome. Thank you, Reza. I appreciate that update and the quick agenda shift. That was really useful. Great. Let's move into member voices here. Member voices is an opportunity for you to introduce yourself. If we hadn't heard from you, we'd love to hear from you now first. And I love to make this easy on myself by asking you to raise your virtual hand. But if you don't, I might start calling on people. So I do see some names. Dan, did we hear from you last week though?
Yeah. Okay. I was just
we're gonna let folks who haven't spoke before go first, and then I'm gonna start calling on some names here though. Voss, I see you down there. Would you like to introduce yourself? Sripad, how about you? Come on, you guys are gonna make me this hard on me today. Last week we had a bunch of hands. We didn't get to them all.
Oh, hi, I'm Sripad.
Excellent.
Hi,
welcome, Sripad. Please introduce yourself.
Total beginner in machine learning, but I'm like deeply interested. and I've joined a boot camp as well for this. So I am trying to cling on to how real world experts converse, what they talk about, what projects they're interested in. And I've joined paper reading sessions as well. And so all these are quite interesting. I can grasp on like 10%, 20%, and I keep improving week after week. So I guess I'll get there one day.
We all will, brother.
That's right.
We're just one Google query ahead of you. Don't worry.
Welcome, Sripad. You joined a great group to sponge up some great knowledge here. So welcome. We're excited to have you. I'm still going to be calling names. Please raise those virtual hands and spare me some effort here. Elijah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, one sec. Sorry, I was just at a weird location.
We can hear you just fine.
You can hear my audio?
Yep.
Yeah, it's crisp clear.
Great. Yeah, so I'm Elijah. I'm a full stack engineer. I work on some different entrepreneurial projects, and then I'm also a university student. I go to Ohio State, and I'm really interested in really getting into the open source area. I'm doing some research and helping out, contribute. I'm currently working on like a double dating app, and working on some other personal projects as well.
Excellent. Welcome, Elijah. Great to have you here. BETELHEM, would you like to introduce yourself? How about Brian Ragazzi? It's a new Brian. Make him. Oh, there's BETELHEM, please.
Yeah, hello everyone. I am BETELHEM. So I am a software engineer with 7 years of experience in software development, but I am a beginner in AI technology. So I am eager to learn and contribute my knowledge in these projects and research. I'm happy to join your community. Yeah, I hope we'll have a good time ahead.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining. We're super excited to have you here. Brian Ragazzi, would you like to introduce yourself? Chung Tang. Don't all jump on this at once, folks.
Nicholas Ledworth.
Hey, Nicholas, yeah. Did we hear from you last week? I'd love to hear an introduction here.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. No, I didn't get a chance to introduce myself last week, but my name is Nick. I went to the University of Utah for computer science. I like to work on different projects in my free time. A lot of them have to do with like web scraping. I also like to work on projects with emulation. I'm really want to learn more about developing deep learning networks, and I really like I've watched the talks that Reza gave on the fluid dynamics for machine learning models. And yeah, I'm just really interested in seeing where all this goes, and I'd love to help out with it.
Nicholas, you got to sign up.
Sign up where?
On the website.
Oh, I'm all signed up.
Are you? Okay. So
Yeah.
why don't I see you in the member list? Okay. That's odd.
He's in there.
He's in there. Okay.
Thank you for joining our
Thanks
work
so
group
much.
meetings already this week, Nicholas. That was really a good demonstration of how it kind of has to be done here at Kwaai. Go poke around in Slack, figure out what's interesting to you, and start following along. So thank you for doing that. It was great to meet you on our back office automation call earlier this week.
Good to meet you too.
Great, Cage. How about Cage?
Yeah, this is Kevin. I didn't realize I was going to be asked to participate here, so I guess that's my penance for coming 30 minutes late to the meeting. So, yeah, I'm an engineer. I'm actually probably the odd one out. I'm a mechanical engineer, and I got interested in this because I started writing a science fiction novel back in 2020, and I saw that. I guess it's Kwaai. I'm completely brand new to all this. I just signed up on the list, and actually Reza and I have our kind of introductory chat later this afternoon. But I'm approaching it from a really different angle here, and I don't know, if this aligns with what you guys are doing, but when you look at the human brain, it's quite capable of processing a lot of information and doesn't use a lot of electricity. So I'm kind of interested in these alternative routes to see if there ever is an avenue for us to develop technology in that realm, where we're doing something more kind of analog, organic like, and that's a pretty wild area. But I don't know. Seems like there's some great thinkers here, and maybe that'll be an interesting space to watch.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to the chat.
Excellent. There's just a few more names, and we've got a few more minutes here to hear from you before we let some of the repeat visitors chime in. Would anybody else like to introduce themselves today? I've already called all the names, I think, so I'm not gonna do it again. And was anybody here last week that didn't get an opportunity to introduce themselves? Okay. I think Daniel, you had your hand up there before. Daniel, would you like to share something?
There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah. Hey, we had a really successful first podcast this weekend, and I brought up Kwaai. I don't know if you saw that, Reza. And so that was on Data Science Central that it ended up getting published to, and they love it so much that I'm going to be featured every week. I want to have Reza on and some of you gentlemen at some point and do a big talk and get it out there. A lot of people are excited. My friend Caleb is a very talented programmer in Python and works with a lot of stuff I can't quite mention, but it has to do with a lot of what you're doing. And I think he's interested in being a part of it. So, and that's about building characters and things like that and having the personalities and things in place. So anyways, I just want to run that by you guys, and looking forward to popping by and just seeing some people during the Linux, the open source convention here in Seattle. I can't actually get away or get in for too long, so I'll just have to meet people out and about in Seattle. So anyway, that's all. I just want to let you guys know we got some good things slated for future shows, and whatever anyone would like to talk about, we can put it on blast and get a lot of people involved. Okay, so that's that.
Thanks
Awesome.
so much, Daniel.
Awesome, Daniel. Thank you so much, and the crew will see you in Seattle as part of their roadshow tour.
That's right.
Anybody else have anything along a similar vein? Announcements, opportunities for Kwaai members, anything like that?
Did we hear from Medford?
Yeah, so let me thank you, Reza, for sending out my little message. So yeah, I'm looking to see if anybody's interested on doing a little bit of mentoring. So my background is in data science, and I do a lot of modeling, a lot of data wrangling. I play around with different tools out there, just simple RAG implementation, still learning about what are the different LLMs out there that I can use. But what I kind of want to also pick up on is a little bit more along the lines of deployment, CI/CD, the data engineering, MLOps, cloud development type of skills. And I feel like that would help with at least, maybe some of the work we're trying to do with building out the OS or the architecture. So I'm not looking for a big time commitment or anything, but just even some direction or guidance on what are specific people to follow, articles to read, books to read, certain tutorials and projects that I should go over.
Yep. I got some stuff I'll share with you for sure.
Medford, in your message though, you described it as a template for what we should be doing in Kwaai. That's what I took away from it.
Yeah.
So talk a bit more about what your thoughts are around that.
Yeah. So my idea was also I can kind of go through this process and put together maybe a syllabus or a walkthrough for anybody who wants to go in that direction, that future people who are joining Kwaai, and have different types of I guess maybe specialization or specific areas within the larger data science and engineering fields, whatever people feel like they're missing or lacking, that would help them reach the next level and help contribute more to our projects, and also tie it to like different I guess initiatives we're doing at Kwaai, right? Like I kind of mentioned this like maybe in a previous meeting, like there's projects A, B, and C going on at Kwaai. These are generally what it's about. These are kind of like the technical requirements or prerequisite that we would like you to have before you jump onto the project. And if you don't have those, well, here's where you can go to kind of like achieve or gain these skills. And I feel like that would just kind of help, smooth out the process for onboarding and for all future volunteers. So that's interested in doing that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well said, Medford. And we do have a member journey. I see you're in that Slack channel already. The member journey is exactly where we want to talk about this. Brian Larsen, thank you for popping in and joining there too. The member journey is so critically important. We're building a movement. We need folks to know which way to move and how to move. And so we really appreciate your thoughts and effort. The only way we can build this is with the feedback of new members coming in. We know it's not great, but your ideas, Medford, mean a lot to us in this process, and we'd love for you to help us implement some of those.
Hey, Matt, just so you know, I think Kwanza's here. We just want to say thank you, man. We appreciate the state of Georgia, bruh. Like really coming through. Santi's just been phenomenal, man, and so we just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, yes. Hey, thank you all. This is phenomenal work that the team's been head down on, I guess, the last strong 6 months or so, maybe even more than that for sure. But, just watching the progression and see the committees expand, more people participating, what better place than to figure out how we can make sure some things happen here in Atlanta and in Georgia. I'm going to make sure that our county steps up. We'll try to figure out what we can do. We've been supporting a couple of special data centers out here and other projects that touch AI. So we're going to do more, and we just got to spread the word and welcoming you all to come out here, and let's see if we can make that hackathon a real success and something we're all proud of. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thanks, Kwanza.
Thanks, Kwanza.
And Kwanza, sorry, would you mind just giving yourself a little self-introduction here for the folks that haven't heard of you before?
Sure thing. Sorry about that, y'all. Hey, this is Kwanza Hall. I'm a former city councilman. I served for 12 years on city council in Atlanta, supporting innovation. If you've ever been to Atlanta, where all the towers are, where Georgia Tech is, that's my district. And I also most recently served in Congress, completing John Lewis's term, former civil rights icon who passed away. My big push has always been around placemaking for innovators such as yourselves. So we want the entire Atlanta to be that as we're looking forward to the World Cup. Fulton County, the state of Georgia, has been big on innovation. And we just want to welcome you all. And I'm so glad to just be a part of this. Toby's been a great friend. What Reza's doing, this is like phenomenal work. And we're trying to break the mold. So just want you to know that you have partners here. And as we make people aware of what's going on, I think you'll see it expand significantly after the hackathon. So welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, Kwanza. And thank you, Toby. Yeah, Daniel, we've got some time here.
I put a link in the chat for everybody for the podcast. This weekend we're focusing on retrieval augmented fine tuning. So for the gentleman that was speaking about getting tutorials and more resources, this would be a great one to join or just watch later. It's all recorded. We stream to YouTube, but there's a link in the chat for everybody. And this is a hot topic right now. It's just managing RAG, because I got a lot of friends that are developers that have problems with things working right now, and it's very much contentious territory. So I would love to have some people come in and get your opinions and stuff, and we can all learn together. But anyway, that's it. Wrapped.
Awesome. Thank you. And Roman, I think you lit up at that. Maybe connect with Daniel.
Sure, I will check it out.
Awesome. Fantastic. So we've got about just a few more minutes here. Anybody else have a final comment, update? James, yeah, please. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, where's the camera when you need it? Hey, guys. So I'd love to connect a little bit more with Daniel Wilson, who spoke earlier, as well as Thomas. And on that, I spent 20 years in the entertainment industry in Southern Cal before moving up north. So I was a former Local 47 member of the Musicians Union. I'm familiar with all the different deals that had a strike. And I think from my own perspective, that a lot of their information is coming from the various CES and NAB confabs that gives direction to what the technology industry is doing. And I think Kwaai has a better opportunity to actually invite those particular organizations and members to our cause so we can understand what was stated earlier. Because a lot of people are talking about, hey, I do a movement and it's captured on green screen, and I'm not really sure if your lead organization is only getting its talk points from a participation at, again, CES and NAB and others. They're missing some on the ground conversations that they can be part of. And I know that because I started out as an artist, a technician, and I navigated towards the larger, more important individuals and conversations over time. But I find a lot of artists who are on the front line don't really get the right engagement or talk points. So I'm hoping, and speaking specifically only what I heard from Daniel and Thomas, but I'm open for anyone, to really see if our hackathons, for example, in these major media and entertainment tech centers can provide more of a better introduction to the steps of what the future could be.
We have the network. We just need to stage it, literally.
Right. James, really important points. And my normal stomping ground would be NAB. I'm not going this year. But you're right. This is, in fact, Kwaai was birthed right in the middle of the Hollywood strikes. And that was the sort of context of part of my thinking. And so, yeah, I think we need to tap into that angst. And it's not a sort of theoretical angst, it's a very real angst in the entertainment industry about how AI would be disempowering for workers rather than empowering. Okay.
Yeah, James, you're 100% correct. You called it. Come from that vendor space, CES, NAB, IBC are the places we go. Other broadcasts and streaming kind of venues to talk about problems in the industry. And we're looking at problems. We've been looking at problems from 7 years ago. We're not talking about what's coming tomorrow. We're literally, my proposal when a gap opened up for the NAB Streaming Summit was to talk about the state of ad-supported streaming today, not about how can AI and the work that's going on in Kwaai support the goals of fixing these problems.
Well said. Thank you, James, and appreciate the context. Karsten, why don't you chime in, and then we'll pass it back over to Reza after you.
Great, thanks. Perfect chance. I just wanted, we keep mentioning this thing in Seattle next week, and I wanted to be a little more explicit. I'm going to put my LinkedIn in chat if you want to help promote what's going on. So next week is Open Source Summit North America, put on by the Linux Foundation. It's their kind of general purpose open source event. And it's you can look up the details on it, but I'd appreciate any promotions or pushing forward you can do in terms of the messages we've got out there. I've got a calendar to fill up. I'm looking to talk to people about Kwaai and to talk about the hackathon, and I'm looking for support and sponsorships. If there's anybody you know out there that you want me to meet, let me know, and to go track them down. All that kind of thing. And just like James said, like this is like an NAB for open source in terms of it, sort of insiders of insiders. I used to be in radio streaming back when I started, so I remember we used to get prep for the NAB shows too. So yeah, so thanks everybody, and I'm really looking forward to getting to have this trip, and I'll give you a report back. I should be able to be on this call next week while I'm on my way to the airport, or at the airport waiting for my flight. So I'll give you the update then. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Karsten. Thanks for representing.
Reza, you want to take us out?
Yeah, very good. Okay, so look, just to make this a bit more fun, why don't I share and play? So I'm gonna ask you 3 questions. It's who, what, and when, and put your answers in the message stream while I talk us out. Okay, who, what, and when. So thanks so much. Happy Friday, happy Kwaai Day. What we have here is a super intelligence. This is our community, and it's super important for us to try and harness that super intelligence for the mission that we all feel passionate about. And so what I want to do is actually create a sponsorship page, but I want to be able to promote each one of you as sponsors, because that's what you're doing. You're sponsoring us. There are a number of you that are individual contributors, but you've got brands, you've got logos. You should have, and you should have your own web page. And we should recognize the value of your sponsorship in there. Each one of you. This is a community where we of self-selected individuals. Yes, we're harnessed to a cause that we feel passionate about, but we also have our own day jobs. We've got to move ourselves along. And so, look, a sponsorship page. We already listed, who are our platinum sponsors, Arcus Nexus, who's our gold sponsor, Chase Bank. We've got a couple of silvers and we've got a couple of bronze sponsors. That's kind of, standard. Most companies have that. What I'd like to do is actually populate that and recognize all of our volunteer contributors and the brands they represent. Some people are between jobs. Look, AI has done a number on this industry. We are actually saying to you, don't have a gap in your resume. Come and do a tour of duty at Kwaai, and you'll get networking benefits. You'll come away smarter than you came away, and you'll contribute. You'll contribute to a cause that matters, and you'll feel good about yourself. So thanks so much. Okay, I've not seen any answers in the stream. Who, what, and when? Quick! I'm not going to stop talking until somebody identifies who.
I think I know. Is it cheating if I answer?
Go ahead. I mean, I was hoping.
I think that's Shad and maybe you, Reza, at the College of the Canyons, looking at the very first eclipse at our summit number 1.
Excellent. Well done. Okay. Matt gets the answer. Matt gets the prize. Okay. And you can see we were nerding out there. If all of you missed the eclipse this week, then hey, here's a recording that Shad and I did at the very first summit of Kwaai. So happy Kwaai Day, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you next week or in the week if you are part of work groups. Okay, next week I'm going to be out. I'm going to be in the Bay Area attending Project VRM. This is Doc Searle's group, which is being standardized in the IEEE as Project P7012. And we're also attending IIW, which is Internet Identity Workshop. So that's what we're up in the Bay Area for. We're also seeing some vendors. And
the first day is free. So if you're in the Bay, register, get a ticket, come hang out. We'd love to have you. We're going to be filming so we can grab some member interviews as well. Jerome will be there with the camera, capture some special moments with Doc, but everyone who attends, we'd love to capture a little moment with you as well.
Thanks, everybody. Okay, I'm signing off.
Happy Kwaai Day. Have a good weekend, everyone. See you in the hackathon. I'm going to be over in the hackathon room. Anybody else who wants to come over. If you guys need the link, I'll put it in the chat here just in case.
See y'all later.
Thanks, Kwanza. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, great to connect.